Hey guys, I thought I'd start doing giveaways. So I'm going to do a giveaway at my 6,000th subscriber. So at 6,000, I have 3 business cards from Popple that I'm going to be giving away. Yay! There is I see so many people giving away baskets and stuff. I have to be in that. I have to get through that. I have to be a part. So my 6,000, 6,001, and 6,002 subscriber, these are for you. Business cards. You're going to put them on the back of your card or your phone or whatever you want to do with them. It's fine. Dear Papa, I'm giving this away because I bought this myself. I bought these and I'm giving them away. So 6,000, 6,001, and 6,002. Let's do it. I love you. Thank you guys so much. See you later. Bye. Hey guys, this is Yaya Diamond, and we still have that giveaway because I still have the popples here. We haven't reached 6,000 yet, but we're working on it. But we have reached over 10 million people a month on TV. So we're trying to grow our YouTube channel, but most of all, we're trying to get that great content out to you. People who are doing it, done it, been there, doing it, done it, been there, doing it. I mean, you just have to repeat until what? Until you don't want to do it anymore. And then you change up. Listen, music is my thing. I absolutely love music, and you guys know I do. And I have a guest today. His name is Kevin, and he's on the show. He is a musician, a teacher, a whatever you want to call him, but he's amazing. I just think he's great. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Yaya.
Oh man, I'm so excited to have you here. Tell me, why are you in music? It's not how you got into it. Music is not one of those things that, oh, I think I'm going to be a musician and make lots of money, because that doesn't necessarily happen to everybody. So, why are you a musician and why are you doing what you do today?
Good question. So I got my first guitar when I was 13. So this is 1997, 2.5 decades ago. And so I was always a musician from when I was almost old enough to pick up a guitar. And so I went through the grades. So the official means of learning the guitar in this part of the world, or any musical instrument, is the Royal School of Music. You work your way up through the grades. So grade 8 is the highest grade. I got that in 2004 when I was 20. And anything that's creative is very hard to monetize, and making money is not a good reason to make music, even if you are making money from it, because it needs to be a passion project if it's going to be any good. So, and I also happen to have a master's degree in creative writing. So, through my 20s, I was working in pretty uninspiring jobs, but that was supporting my actual passion projects, which, and most musicians are in the same boat. They
Yeah.
work with something that doesn't necessarily get their juices going that much, so they can channel it into their creativity.
Mm-hmm.
And and I've taken all kinds of directions. So I started off wanting to be a rock guitarist. My first guitar hero was Noel Gallagher of Oasis. But then when I went through the grades, I became a classical guitarist, because the advantage of the classical guitar is it's a solo instrument. And you might agree that musicians are a pain in the butt to work with, just unpunctual,
I
disorganized.
didn't say anything. I'm not saying anything, Kevin.
And
I'm not
and
saying.
there's and then I went to China in 2007 because there was a job opportunity there, and I was just 23 at the time. And my second year in China was a very immersive experience of the country in Hunan province, which I guess you Americans would call a flyover state. It's
Mhm.
landlocked. It's in the heartlands. The only real form of entertainment was karaoke. So I would learn a new Mando pop song every night, or probably about 4 or 5 new songs a week on average. And eventually, I started writing my own songs. It was a study method that got out of hand, and I gradually realized a a Caucasian singing in Mandarin would never be taken seriously as an artist. So I thought, well,
Mhm.
how do I turn this weakness into a strength? So I started writing comical songs. And China is not a country that most people would associate with satire, but that's where I found myself, being a satirist in China. So
Wow.
it's been quite an adventure.
My gosh. That is an adventure. I mean, to be in China, to be That just I never really compared the two to I've always thought of Chinese people as being super serious, so it's never really kind of I mean I've seen comedians, but I
Yeah,
never thought that they would like that would go over well. When you started, were you nervous?
very much so. In fact, I'm in the process of making a new YouTube video for my Mandarin channel, adding subtitles to something that I would never thought would exist in China, and that's a comedy roast. Like the roasts you get on Comedy Central, where you have a celebrity who's the man or
Yeah.
woman of the hour, and a bunch of other celebrities ribbing them. And the ones in the US, the Comedy Central roasts can get absolutely brutal, and
Oh yeah.
nothing is out of bounds in those. Of course,
Mm-mm.
In China, it's nowhere near as extreme. But I think it's fascinating that it exists because you're right. Because the you could say totalitarianism is humorless because, like in the US, every year you have the White House Correspondents' Dinner, where a
Right.
comedian comes in and sort of makes light jabs at the president. Like a famous example was Stephen Colbert in 2006,
Hmm.
uh, satirizing George W. Bush right in front of him, and
Oh yeah.
that certainly would not happen in China or Russia or any dictatorship.
Wow.
But comedy is a kind of universal thing, and
Mm.
jokes succeed or fail, for the same reasons, in the same ways, if you know what I mean. Like, because
Yeah.
a joke is like a story that a good the punchline of a good joke is like the end of a good story. It feels both unexpected and inevitable.
Right. Wow.
And go on.
Wow. I mean, I was just thinking too. This whole thing is in a different language than English. Even British English, because it's a little bit different than American English too. But how did you learn Mandarin?
Um, well, so I went there when I was 23, and I was my job was teaching English to kids for the first year. The second year
Mm,
it was university students, and the third year it was adult learners. I just so the first year I lived in this mixed sex dormitory that was a kind of like the Big Brother house or Love Island or something. Just all these
mhm,
young people living together, and I just every evening I just stayed home and studied the language really hard, and then
mm,
after about 6 months, when I'd built up a bit of a vocabulary and I could read a fair
mhm.
bit, um, I just went out and because about about 30 to 40% of the people you meet had never seen a foreigner before, like somebody who wasn't ethnically Chinese, so a Caucasian,
Right.
like so. People would just be super curious, so you wouldn't have to try to strike up conversations with strangers; they would just come to you. So
Wow.
it was easy in that regard. And of course, the only way to learn something is to really do it. So
Hmm.
it,
Wow. So explain this, what we're looking at. What is this?
so,
Is this
so
your YouTube channel?
yes, it's one of several. So this is my comedy YouTube channel. It's the YouTube channel for my musical comedy persona, the Kev. So and that this is and also tell jokes. So in my opinion, the highest form of comedy is pure stand up, which I don't really do, but my between song banter, my between song chit chat, it
Hmm.
sort of is stand up. But
Hmm.
this is for comedy songs in Chinese and in English, and also between song skits, because
Mm.
like back in the '90s, the Fugees, that their famous
Yeah.
album Score contained between song skits, and the humor hasn't necessarily aged all that well in the aftermath of the Me Too movement and stuff like that. But
Wow.
it's still a good idea to have skits between songs. It's a good challenge.
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, okay, so there's just so many different things and so many different ways we could take this. So we could take this in a musical way. We could take this in a comedy way. I mean, how? I mean, okay, so you kind of stumbled on this. How surprising was it when you sat down and you thought back on this and you're going, what?
Um, well, every single decision I ever made seemed like the logical next step. I
Mhm.
never set out to be wacky or adventurous. So, um, I guess because I did creative writing at uni, um, most song lyrics in most genres are pretty inconsequential and easy to ignore. Like most pop songs, the lyrics are kind of throwaway. They don't matter that much. You get some surprise. A rare example is the pop song from the '90s, Bop by Hanson. If
Right.
it's hard to make out the lyrics, but if you sit down and read them, you think, wow, that's really profound. But it's not its job to be profound. But I like the challenge of writing lyrics that say a little something.
Mm-hmm.
And
Go ahead.
uh, and with musical comedy, it's a real challenge to get audiences to stop and listen out for the next line
Definitely. So
because
I'm sorry, but I just have to ask you. A lot of people don't find their groove, I would say, in a different country, in a different language, and you have this is like this doesn't happen every day. Tell me how you've been able to maintain this.
um, I'd say, well, the cliche would be live large, dream small. Just be a listener. I never had any grand ambition with China. I always just took what seemed like the next step. So I went from learning the language. Initially, that was my only goal. Uh, Learning songs in a foreign language is a really good study method because you learn obscure vocabulary. You really get used to the rhythms of the language.
Hmm.
And then that led to writing songs in the language. And comedy songs came from realizing I would never be taken seriously. So um,
Wow.
I would always be seen as a like a ventriloquist doll because the idea of a Caucasian even speaking the language is a novelty. So singing it is
Think
even
about a
bigger.
black person doing it, even more of a novelty as well. So, I mean, I understand where you're coming from because we're in the same boat when it comes to that. Mm. I'm just surprised. I'm very surprised that you've had to switch over to comedy in order to be taken seriously. Do you ever think that you'll ever switch over and be taken seriously?
Yeah, I have another YouTube channel called Kevin McGeary Guitar, which is just purely for non-silly music. So
Oh, okay.
that every week is for my classical guitar videos, some rock guitar, pop covers, um, etc. So I still like serious music, but the of all my projects, the one that brings it all together is musical comedy because it involves everything that excites me. So music is one of my passions. Creative writing is another passion. Um, Performance is a passion. How to
Mhm,
connect with audiences. Literature. Well, maybe stretching the definition of literature, but
mhm.
good song lyrics could constitute literature. But most people would agree that Bob Dylan's lyrics are literature. Um, some rap lyrics are so good that they deserve to be called literature.
Mm.
So,
I got
um,
you. I got you. Wow. Wow. Welcome to Root Work Healing, your sanctuary for spiritual healing. Discover the power of tarot readings. In 40 to 60 minutes, connect with messages from Spirit and the universe. Our readings focus on self healing and aligning your highest self, guiding you through shadow work and ancestral healing. Experience somatic therapy, a holistic approach to healing that recognizes trauma stored in the body. Through natural movement, we help release painful memories, bringing clarity and sovereignty back into your life. Explore the world of herbal medicine. Unlike standard supplements, we create personalized herbal formulations tailored to your needs, infused with love and care for deep healing. Enjoy a special offer of free somatic therapy sessions for new clients until our schedule fills up. At Rootwork Healing, everyone is welcome with specialized support for POC and LGBTQIA plus communities. Visit us at rootworkhealing.us, where intuition leads, to book your session today and begin your journey to wellness. This is wonderful. And so you do this music, you do this. Now, is this your like full-time job? Is this what you do for a living, or do you have
well,
something else?
I'd love to be able to earn a living from it, but it's one of these. It's a case of a watched phone never rings. It's like
Mhm.
to build up a really. I'd have to build up a really large following online, probably in practice, And the thing with that is you have to do a bunch of things that aren't really that interesting or fun, like have an instant opinion about every news story, be engaging with celebrities and TikTok dances and stuff like that. And I just don't have an instinct for tickling the internet where it likes to be tickled, if you know.
Yeah, I do know what you mean. I
It's not
don't.
my kind of- So I have different day jobs. I have one office job, um, and I have a lot of freelance tutoring. So I tutor Mandarin, I tutor the guitar,
Mm,
and I have so I represent a company. So it's I just go out there and work for them when there are jobs available. But it's a study support for university students. I go into university lectures and seminars, and I
mm.
take notes for the students, maybe non-native English speakers,
Wow.
students with autism or ADHD or conditions like that, or some of them are in wheelchairs and need to be pushed to their classes, and
Mm.
so services like that, which is good because it enables me to you can put in a shift, fair days work for a fair day's pay, but you can channel your actual creativity and your actual passion into the music. So
Wow. That's kind of cool though, I have to say. I mean, you must have great pleasure in doing that for other people who can't do that for themselves. That must be an
yeah,
amazing thing. So the biggest question that I have is, are you ever going to come out of that into maybe a regular uh, English or United States kind of music?
um, I'd love to venture. So I'm nowhere near ready for it yet, but I love to give pure stand up a go. Put the guitar down,
Oh,
walk with the audience. But so because musical comedy is it's probably nobody's childhood dream to be a musical comedian
yeah.
because you're not quite a musician and you're not quite a comedian. Um, but it's I thoroughly enjoy going on stage
So
and
you want to be like all the way through comedian, not all the way through musician. I mean, you could go both ways though.
exactly
Mm,
could go both.
wow.
So that's why I have separate YouTube channels for different activities. So there's one
Mm.
called the Kev, which is for the musical comedy. One called Kevin McGeary Guitar for the non-silly music, and there's one called Monday Mandarin where I teach Mandarin online.
Oh,
And
well, I mean, can anybody get Mandarin lessons or guitar lessons from you online?
well, I put them on YouTube for free. So
Oh,
yes, Monday
for
Mandarin.
free.
Yeah. Uh,
Free?
but if people want actual, an actual course, they would
Hmm.
have to come with me directly. So
That would be cool. So it would be on your website, right?
yeah, it's all on there.
But right here, this is your Instagram,
But
and people can follow you.
the Instagram is focused more on the musical comedy, but
Hmm.
sometimes just daily life stuff.
Okay.
Um,
And then you have your website. And so we're going to go ahead and go there. And then people can actually go there and get that, right? So they
yeah,
can go to Kevin McGeary. And I'm gonna put this up on the website. I'm gonna put this up on the screen right now so that people can actually see it. And that way they can go there and get your information. So it's on the bottom of the screen, kevinmcgeary.com. And also you do have your YouTube channel, which we show, your Instagram and your website. That's so wonderful. I absolutely love doing something totally different than the norm. It's like you've been geared towards something that maybe most people would shy away from. What kind of advice do you give to someone who is being pushed in a direction that they may not have known that was a possibility?
I think if it's the old quote from the guy from Mrs. Brown's Boys says, "Success is like disco music. Don't analyze it, just dance to it." And
I love that.
and by success, I don't mean fame and fortune. By success, I mean just feeling that things have clicked and have come together and it's working. So if it feels right and you're connecting with audiences, then then dance with
Right.
it, go for it.
That's right.
Because a lot of people, especially because artists are by nature insecure, and you can become very uncomfortable in your own skin, and you can try to be someone else, and you can get bogged down comparing yourself to others and trying to be a different category of artist. But I think that the more you work at it, the more you know yourself and what will work for you,
Yeah.
and you learn not to envy other people's directions because everybody people progress at different rates. Some people might peak when they're 21 years old and have nothing left to give by the time they're in their 30s and 40s. Some authors don't start to get published until they're in their 70s.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. Wow. Wow. That is amazing. Thank you so much, Kevin. Is there anything that we haven't said today that you would like to say?
Um, I don't have one particular nugget of wisdom that comes to mind. So just for art to work, you just got to enjoy the process.
Yeah.
And
Definitely. And I love that you're giving away your lessons online for free on your on your, not your website, but your YouTube channel, right? So
yeah,
people can go to your YouTube channel. They can also get into your YouTube channel, to your Instagram as well. We're going to put all of that information in the description box below. So it'll be easy for you guys to go ahead and grab that and get some lessons in Mandarin. Also, do you put the guitar lessons up there as well?
yeah, yeah. Kevin
Nice.
McGeary guitar.
Nice. Okay, so hey, there is no excuse. If you've ever wanted to learn Mandarin, there it is. If you've ever wanted to learn guitar, there it is. No excuse. We're going to put that in the description box below. Kevin, thank you so much for joining us today. It's just
Thank
been
you,
such a
Doctor.
pleasure having you. And wow, you've been moved into a different direction, brother. So, yeah, that's interesting. I'm not going to turn things down anymore because it's maybe not the direction I want to go in, huh?
Yeah, I uh, I like to think of the movie Forrest Gump. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Everyone around him wants to achieve something. So Lieutenant Dan, for example, wants the Congressional Medal of Honor, albeit posthumously, but Forrest wins it in his stead. Bubba wants to be a shrimp boat captain, but Forrest achieves that instead. Jenny wants to be famous, but Forrest achieves that instead because of his running across America. And I think the reason why things just go his way are because his heart's in the right place and he has no ego. And it's easier said than done to have no ego, but
Yeah.
he does what he does, not because he's trying to promote himself or you know serve his own vanity, but because it feels like the right thing at the time. So I think that there's something to be learned that for being an artist, in that
Yeah.
it's just all about the logical next step and
Definitely.
approaching things with an open mind.
Definitely. I appreciate that. And I like that Forrest Gump analogy. I really do. Thank you. Thank you. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to dare to be different. And until next time, guys, go learn Mandarin. Bye.